What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John G from Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. So, welcome to a new segment that's part of our playlist, State of the Shelf. Now, State of the Shelf started off as actually just a kind of a little bit of a joke me and Tommy V did. We were testing out a new little rig he had, and he said he wanted something to shoot. And I was like, well, let's talk about the shelves for a minute. It's really, just quite honestly, a throwaway idea. But it was really fun to do, and it was a little popular. And so this year, we did another one at the beginning of the year. And there'll be another one, I think, at the end of the year. I don't think we have to wait till the beginning, but there will be one by fourth quarter. Me and Tommy V have already been talking about it and thinking about it, so that's coming up. But this idea came to Tom, and we mulled it over. We thought about it for a little while, and finally it kind of gelled together to what this is here now. You don't know what this is? No. Guess I didn't make the thumbnail obvious enough. Well, my friends, this is a bit that we call the Shelf of Shame. Now, every big board gamer has it. Every big nerd, geek, master of the tabletop adventuring who has walls like this. We all have the Shelf of Shame. A shelf of shame. Now, whether that's an actual shelf itself or enough games that you can fit on a shelf. I do not have a shelf of shame physically, but I do have a handful of games that together would make a shelf. Or so. So, we thought this might be a good way for a couple of things. One, a chance to get to play some of these games that we bought because we wanted to play. Another thing that came to our mind is this might be a good way to interact with you, all our friends and fans, our buddies, our internet go-tos, so to speak. I'm running out of words, so let me just get past this and continue. So we wanted to give you guys a chance to be heard. So we decided that the Shelf of Shame series is going to be a vote series. Yeah, it's going to be a vote series. And by the end of the week, whichever game, which we gave you the options of voting on, gets the most comments. Now that's one comment per account. Okay? One comment per account is all that counts. You get it. You understand. You know what I mean. So this is going to be for us. It's going to be for you. And I think that way it's going to work. It's going to work out really good, because this way the game that has the most votes will get a video on it of the very least of us giving a review of it, maybe of us doing a playthrough of it, and who knows what else will come up from that. Slideshow gaming, tabletop takeout segment on it. Who knows? But there will be if not several videos showcasing the game that you, our friends, have decided to vote on. So now, it's going to be a little bit, we'll use a D&D term, it's going to be a little railroad right now, just a little bit, because we are ending September, going into October, the Halloween month, the most macabre month there is, indeed. I do like saying indeed for some reason. Indeed. All right. So there's going to be a lot of horror games that are going to be on the list for you guys to get a choice of what you want to see us play. But after that, we're gonna mix it up. After the next couple of weeks, it's gonna get mixed up for different themes, different genres, different ideas, some sort of connection. In most cases, there's gonna be some sort of connecting theme, obvious, maybe not so obvious, in the choices that you guys are gonna have. So you want to get started with this? Because I got my list right here, and And I am ready to go. So, while we check this out, it's going to be three. It's going to be a choice of 3 games on each of these episodes. All right, so, and these are in no particular order. This isn't a top 5. This isn't a countdown. There's no particular order except literally what the order was that I pulled them off the shelf. That's it. So don't read into this any deeper than you have to. So why don't we just get started with the first one? The first game I pulled off the shelf is a game I've had for a couple of years now. I was really excited to get this game. I liked the concept of it. It reminded me of a game I had when I was a kid that really helped show me that there's more to board games than just Monopoly and Life and Stratego and Risk. That there was a little bit more, a little deeper thinking and strategy could be found in a game. And I have loved hidden movement games ever since I discovered Scotland Yard. So this game reminded me a lot of Scotland Yard, and it had that horror feel about it. And it's also on a subject that I've always had a slightly more than passing interest on, and that's Jack the Ripper. Yeah. All right, boss. So the game, Letters from Whitechapel. I'll be wanting to put stuff up here, right? Yeah, of course I am. The game Letters from Whitechapel, the 2nd edition, and this game is designed by, and I hope I pronounced these names right. I apologize in advance if I do not, but let me try here. By Gabriele Mari and Gianluca Santopietro. Petro, I think that sounds Petro. I'm trying. And that is by Fantasy Flight Games, Letters from Whitechapel Revised Edition. This game is for 2 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, the publisher says, and it should take about 60 to 90 minutes to play. Some of the things that attracted me to this game, other than the how deeply thematic it all came off as being tied in with Jack the Ripper. I like these one versus all games with the hidden movement. Like I opened up this with. I have enjoyed these games since the early 80s, I guess, when I discovered Scotland Yard. And this having such a familiar theme that I know well and so many other people know well, I figured it'd be a good game that I'd be able to get down at the table because it is familiar with everyone. To one degree or another, everyone has at least heard of Jack the Ripper, if not prescribed to one or several of the theories that have been going around for years about who this serial killer actually was. This game actually does follow the real events. So one of the players is going to be playing the Ripper, while the other players in this game are going to be playing the investigators that are on the hunt for him. I got this right here, and I'd like to read this. I'd like to read this to you, if that's all right. Any different? All right. Letters from Whitechapel, Revised Edition. In Letters from Whitechapel, one player assumes the role of Jack the Ripper, while the other players assume the role of detectives pursuing him in Victorian London. Jack the Ripper must outmaneuver the detectives in the tangled streets of the Whitechapel district to escape after committing his horrible murders. Meanwhile, the detectives must use clever deduction and their superior numbers to hunt Jack the Ripper down before he can kill again or elude them forever. Will history's most notorious serial killer get away again? Or this time, will he be brought to justice? So that's what the publisher wrote about the game. And I've been wanting to get this game to the table, and unfortunately, for one reason or another, it just never happens. So my first of the 3 choices for everyone is Letters from Whitechapel, this revised edition. Now, the second game I have on board ready for your approval or disapproval, as it may be. This definitely caught my attention because of the name assigned to it. The very first name on the box, actually, before the name, the title of the game, before even the designer of the game. And that's Neil Gaiman. And so that, of course, caught my attention right away. And this is the second edition of a game based on a Neil Gaiman short story, A Study in Emerald. Now, A Study in Emerald is, well, you know what? I'll read that to you in one moment. This is a secret identity game. People are on one side or the other, but nobody knows whose side anybody is on. So although given even numbers, more or less, half the table is probably playing for one win condition, the other is playing for the other win condition. Nobody knows who their teammates are. So that's very interesting mechanic. A lot of distrust going around, and that really makes you second guess your choices, and it's always fun to see in the other players, though not fun for me personally. And it's a bit of a deck building game. Like I've said before in other videos, I like some deck building games. Some of the other ones I haven't really cared for that much, and I'm curious to see if this is going to be one of those games that I enjoy with the deck building mechanism in there. So Neil Gaiman's Study in Emerald by Martin Wallace, published by Tree Frog Games, and it's a good game for 2 to 5 players. The publisher says 13 and up should be the allowable ages to play, and they also say it's going to run you between 60 and 90 minutes. That's what they say. Again, I don't know, because we haven't gotten this to the table yet. Now, I'm just read you off of the back what the publisher wrote about the game. It is 1882, and the old ones are already here. They arrived 700 years ago and have been ruling the planet ever since. The majority of people just get on with their lives, accepting their monstrous rulers. However, there is a growing band of revolutionaries who wish to free mankind from their slavery. These freedom fighters call themselves the Restorationists. Sorry. A secret war has already broken out between the Restorationists and the forces loyal to the Old Ones. The invention of dynamite has changed the balance of power, and a lone assassin now has the capability to destroy an Old One. In this world of assassins, informers, police agents, nobody is quite sure who is and who is which and who is on which side. Nobody knows who is fighting for whom. The game A Study in Emerald draws its central plot from the award-winning short story penned by Neil Gaiman, in which the worlds of Sherlock Holmes and H.P. Lovecraft are combined to telling effect. However, to create a world detailed enough for players, much has been added from real history. The 19th century was a time of unrest, with many colorful characters fighting both for and against the authorities. A Study in Emerald is the outcome of the merging of these 3 worlds. So I thought it was interesting in the fact that it was so different as a Lovecraftian Cthulian-based mythos game. And, that's why I decided to get it also. That was probably the defining factor, or at least the last reason for me to get it, so to speak, because it is so much different than most of the other Cthulian games out there. You're not, once again, investigators just tromping around, happily killing creatures that should be driving you to complete insanity, and meanwhile saving the world from beings that are far older than time and space itself, and have probably already planned and had for every contingency, including what you're doing. The books and short stories themselves, even when they end in happiness, end in dread for the main characters. You don't usually get that in the game. So this was different enough that I wanted to get it, try playing it, and hopefully be happy that it was in my Cthulian shelf. So it hasn't gotten to the table yet. So that's another possibility for you all to vote on. And now, moving on to the third game on my list here. My third game on the list. I get this ready right now, as this is a little bit bigger than the other 2. Hello, Vic. Did you hear that? My notes are really up close. So the last one is by a company, Queen Games. It's by Queen Games, the designer of the game, who also did the graphics on the game. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get the last name pronounced right. I hope. David Osluis. David Osluis. This is a game for 2 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, and should take... Oh, this won't take a little while longer. This one's going to take about 120, maybe even as much as 180 minutes. Maybe longer, your very first game, since you're figuring out all the rules. This game, Dark, Darker, Darkest. Dark, Darker, Darkest. What caught my attention about this? Now, this falls into a similar category as the last game. Much like the Cthulhian games, I feel like I'm kind of done with zombie games. And that's because they all kind of feel like variations of the same game to me. Oh, you have to survive the zombie apocalypse. You have to solve problems. You have to kill zombies. You might have to sacrifice fellow players or NPC non-player characters that you have to protect. It all really felt the same. But when Dark, Darker, Darkest came to my attention, the first thing I thought of was, whoa, Resident Evil the board game. So that got me a little excited, because even though it is not, legally speaking, Resident Evil the board game, it's Resident Evil the board game. It has miniatures, and the miniatures look pretty cool. I mean, not the 100% most detailed miniatures I've ever seen. I've seen better, I've played with better, but I liked them. I thought they looked well enough, good enough for the game, and they were just attention grabbing enough for me. So I really like that, and I like the fact that the game itself, it's not just the zombies and the zombie dogs and the zombie crows. It's not Resident Evil. The zombies themselves, the mad scientist, all inside this mansion. Was the fact that the environment itself you have to fight against. Overtly so, with the fact that the place is burning down around you as the game goes on. Yeah, that's no bueno, my friends. No bueno, mi amigo. No. Nine, wunderbar. And also a little more subtly than that, man-made nature in the sense of the security cameras and security systems. I like that. It sounded very interesting to me. And again, with the whole Resident Evil board game thing, it also had its fair share, or has, I say it like it's right here. It didn't go anywhere. I shouldn't use the past tense. But with the whole security system implemented, it reminded me of the video game, very much so. So no matter what they call it, no matter how their team of lawyers got around it, I really wanted to get this because it's a Resident Evil board game. Which there is a Resident Evil board game out now. I'm going to have to get it at some point so I can play and determine which of these two is the better Resident Evil board game. But yeah, so the puzzles and everything, the miniatures, the environment coming at you, the rip-off IP. Sorry, Queen's Game, but that's exactly how it feels. It all drew me to the game. But again, we didn't have time to get this to the table. We never have. So with October coming up, this might be a great time. So for your third pick, it's Dark, Darker, Darkest. And, the publisher. The publisher wrote about this. Welcome to the world. No, not the world. This is like the old movie trailers. Picture a world. Welcome to the apocalypse. Are you ready to fight the darkness? Enter the house of Dr. Mortimer and fight an intense battle of survival against the horrors inside. Hordes of the undead, raging fires, rabid creatures, a vicious security system, all standing between you and the antidote that will save all of humanity. You will need to band tightly as a team and work together every step of the way just to stay alive, let alone win the race against the clock to successfully breach the doctor's lab. Are you brave enough to face the darkness? That's what the publisher had to write about the game. So those are the three games: Dark, Darker, Darkest, Neil Gaiman's Study in Emerald, and the revised edition of Letters from Whitechapel. So we're gonna give this a week, see what happens. And again, the winner of the game that's gonna win is up to all of you, and it's just gonna take votes. One vote per account, and let's see how many we get for these. And if you really want to see one of these games played, or you're just really interested in seeing the contest ramp up or anything, or just a cool rabid following fan of ours, then my friend, please share this video and get your friends to vote as well. And let's see which game is going to win. I'm really curious to see how this very first episode of the Shelf of Shame is going to turn out. All right, thanks for sitting down and checking out this new series with me. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G, and I am out of here. The Shelf of Shame.